Cantona. Gary Neville looking for his first goal for Manchester United, and what a time to get it!
Welcome back to the Worldwide Reds. Everton 0, Manchester United 1. It was ugly. It was professional. Big 3 points. Not pretty, not dominant, but very, very important 3 points to get us into that top 4. Generally, we may stuff it up, but this time we went through. I actually enjoyed the game. A lot of people didn't. I see it a lot different to everyone else, but you know what? It's 3 points in the bag, and sometimes you got to win ugly. How are we, boys, and how are we going?
Good. Happy with 3 points. Important.
I'm with Adam. I actually didn't think it was that bad. I wouldn't say enjoyed it, as I've had that debate many a time before, but I was pleasantly pleased enough. Especially the 3 points obviously makes it a little bit easier. But a good way to start my morning for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure all of us expected it to be a tough game after the West Ham game as well. So the fact that we kind of like, for the lack of a better word, suffer through the game while getting the 3 points, I thought that was really good.
I think that was important, though. I think we showed that. I think teams have got to, when they push in for the higher spots in the league, you've got to win games that you don't play well in. And I think today we didn't. Not that we didn't play bad, but I don't think we. I feel like we lacked quality up front in the first half, especially. I didn't think we could keep the ball as well as I thought in the final third. I thought the game was quite end to end, and I think we defended very well. I think both teams kind of did, actually.
Anyway, see you, Jordan.
What? Did I drop out?
I think Adam dropped out there, to be honest.
Your internet
Yeah, I think it was you. So back up, mate.
Well, he paused on my end, and everyone else was fine. Apologies if it was me, but I thought it was him. Anyway, look, for me on the first half, I actually watched it. I left. I didn't watch it like while it was live. I had it going in the background, everything like that. Come home and watched it without a mobile phone, everything like that. Just sat there and I watched the first half because I was listening to a few people on YouTube talking about players, not putting in and everything like that. And you know what? I watched the first half, and I actually thought both teams probably played similar, but both teams, I think, were that keen to get 3 points today that there was a lot of ball movement and everything like that. Yes, we had turnovers and everything like that, but I think both teams wanted to rush each other, and it does become a scrappy game, but I don't think anyone was really lazy or anything like that. I actually thought the first half was without the goals, and as we're going forward, I still think we were always looking to pass forward before we went back or anything like that. I don't think in the first half early pass, like first, second, Le Mans, that ball could have gone anywhere where he went to kick it downfield. But you know what? I actually enjoyed the first half, even though there was no goals.
If you take away sorry, Yanni, just quickly on that, you take away the intricacies and the way we evaluate the performance these days in regards to what we want to see. Cast your mind back a year, 20 years, wherever you want to go, away at Goodison Park. That's what those games are. We think a new flashy stadium and sort of the football we want to play, it almost looks a little bit elite and sort of upper class in Everton's new stadium. Just say that's Everton away 10 years ago at Goodison Park. That's those games. It's tough. You're not going to play well. You're going to have to defend. You're going to have to defend set pieces. You're going to have to defend corners. That's what this game was. Anyone expecting a vintage footballing performance by Man United, they were in for a rude shock and they got it. So I think we can pick the bones out of the performance. But I thought it was going to be a challenge, and we faced the challenge.
I think James Gardner's quality, isn't he, for Everton? Every time I watch him play, man, he is quality.
We need someone like that in our youth system to like come up this, that'd be nice.
Don't even go there, Yoni.
Yeah. But just to touch on what Tom was saying, I agree. I think, for the past 2 weeks since the West Ham game, I was sure this was going to be another difficult one. Like it's away in Goodison or wherever they want to call it now. And, my whole thing was, let's see how we recover from a setback and whether we can get the 3 points. And for me, it was more important that we get that win, and we kind of like, we don't end up kind of taking a step back or a step sideways by drawing or losing or whatever the case is, especially when Chelsea drew as well and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was overall quite happy. And just to touch on what Adam was saying about the first half, I definitely don't think there was any lack of trying. I just think the quality was lacking at the end of it. But then if you look at the defensive aspect of it, we were going the entire like half defending well and this and that. And look at, I think it was the end of the half, Bruno twice blocked a cross coming in. One of them, he ran like 40 yards to get that block as well. So it's not like we didn't try, we didn't defend. Like we worked hard to get that clean sheet. So yeah.
Elliot?
I thought Le Mans was incredible in goals again, eh? I really rate him. I'm very, very, very happy. He's with
man
us.
of the match.
I should have.
Yeah, he got man of the match, yeah.
Yeah.
He did in my
He's
heart.
just so good in like the crosses, isn't he? Like he just claims everything. So composed.
I felt sorry for him, with those corners, like towards the end of the game. They were just swarming the 6-yard box and just swarming around.
Imagine if we had Onana or Bayindir for that. Like
he just backed himself every time, and his accuracy was punching the ball away, like on those corners.
Yeah. And the good thing about that is, I think that's kind of like Everton's, stereotypically, it's Everton's like game plan or whatever under Moyes. It's, the long balls, the crosses and things like that. And because that's like Le Mans' strength, he actually like was saying, bring it on. I'll go for it every time. And I heard it somewhere else. I don't remember where, but it also now will show future teams who are coming to play against us. You can try to do that like you did in the beginning of the season and last season, but it's not going to have the same effect that it did back then, because now we are a lot more confident in what we're doing, defending from like the crosses and things like that.
I tell you what, the boys need strength, don't they? We're talking about Lenny Yoro, upper strength, how big he's looking and everything like that. Mate, I swear to God, in those last 4 or 5 corners, and it's something I'm going to take Arbor with today, is the corners. But the strength these boys have to show when they're like around the goalkeeper and stuff like that. And our keeper, he has to stay calm, because I always used to say it to my daughter, if you get involved in the scrap in the box, you're going to cop a goal. And he didn't get involved in it or anything like that. He just held his position. And whenever he needed to take the ball, knock it out, catch it, everything like that, he's just so calming for the fans and for the team.
See Lenny Yoro get thrown into the goals from Tarkowski.
That was not a yellow card.
And he got a yellow for it, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah.
I just thought, fuck, that was the difference between, 19-year-old and a 34-year-old.
But speaking of like 30-year-olds plus or whatever, I thought in defending all those corners as well, Maguire really
was very
him,
good. Doesn't it?
Yeah,
that's his bread and butter. I thought Lenny Yoro was good too, considering.
Yeah, well, it was baptism by fire for Yoro, because he didn't know he was going to start the game and all that kind of stuff until recently. So it was actually nice for him to just, this is what needs to happen, just cop it, and he dealt with it quite well. So
I felt the interesting part around this discussion. I agree with every single word everyone has said there, but our opinion and our view and the narrative around the situation would very much change simply the bounce of the ball. In terms of the amount of bodies in there, they had 10 corners. One of those hitting the back of someone's head or take a little bit of flexion and it bobbles in it. And it bobbles in and it's a 1-1 draw. Where then questioning Leman's coming to collect balls or Harry Maguire, the suitability or mentality of these players. And today we don't have to have that discussion because we held on and got the job done. But that just shows people hated Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for always saying fine margins. So the fine margins were in our favour. Next week when we're defending these against Crystal Palace, it could come off the back of Harry Maguire's head and sort of bundle over the line, and we're saying, what on earth, we can't defend crosses. So it's fantastic today, but that is sort of, you need to get over the line, and so they did.
In saying that, though, Tom, I think we're a lot more composed and a lot more organised, I think, on corners and set pieces. Mate, I just
it comes from Lament. As you said, there's a calmness. I feel I put a comment in one of the posts. My health and my stress drastically has improved because when the ball went into our half a year ago, once the opposition crossed halfway, and kick the ball in the general direction of our goal, you thought there's a chance if Onana gets involved in this, there's a chance this could be dangerous. Let alone when they're throwing corners in sort of right under the crossbar with 6 or 7 bodies under the crossbar. So, yeah, Lamens, look, whether he makes it as a Manchester United goalkeeper and he's a Premier League winning goalkeeper, time will tell. But for an introduction for a young goalkeeper to come in and perform like he's doing, look at David De Gea's first season and crosses coming in under the crossbar. David De Gea turned out okay, but he completely failed at that first season at that challenge. Lamens is succeeding at that challenge. So that's not to say he's going to go on and have that career. But I don't think we'll have a Player of the Year vote at the end of the season. I'm sure Brian Mbeumo will be there. Bruno Fernandes will be there. He puts another 5 or 6 good performances in. I'm willing to throw Sam Lamens in there.
Did any of you boys, I don't know if any of you boys saw the interview with Sane and Van der
like
Sar?
goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Mate, the part, I enjoyed the interview and everything like that. But when he came on and started talking to Van der Sar, it was like a little boy talking to his childhood hero. Honestly, It was just brilliant to watch.
It
was so good. Yeah, that's what I got out of it. And he was that excited to talk to him. It just blew my mind. It was so good.
And he kept his head screwed on throughout the entire thing. Not like getting his head bigger and things like that. It was like, he said, to be compared to Van der Sar is great, but I'm obviously nowhere near that kind of level at the moment and things like that. So
yeah. I like that, though. He doesn't show arrogance. He knows he's got to build himself. I like
very
it.
humble.
Yeah, no. Yeah, very humble guy. He seems that type of guy, and I suppose that's why he keeps that calmness in the back. Like, it was just... Okay, look, when we scored the goal, I know this is jumping ahead. We might as well jump ahead to the goal. It was a great goal. Everton did have their chances and everything like that. But while we're talking on Sunday, the saves that he was making were phenomenal. They were so good. That one where he saved it top corner, that one there. He was to his left and he had to get across there. It was very unorthodox save, but he had to watch out for the post as well, which makes it even harder. So he's got his eye on the post as well as the ball. What a save.
There was another one that got drilled at him by, I think it was Tyreek.
That was the save for me.
That was late.
And I was like, man, to hold that, I didn't even see the ball leave the guy's foot. It was that quick.
They mentioned that in the interview as well. He said that that's one of the things he's been working on and he feels he's strong with. It's actually catching the ball, so there's no second chance for a striker to, come back and try to get a goal off it. It's something that Onana would have loved to. Onana probably would have been like, there you go.
He would have tried to make the foot save and it would have went under him.
Yeah.
Well, they're the two fears with Onana. One, Yanni's right in regards to parrying it into a dangerous area. But then Adam also mentions there's a chance it goes under Onana. He doesn't get down quick enough to it. So it's just, look, I don't want to sort of bash him or bring him back into it. So look forward to what Lamens is going to bring. But again, I'm not saying player of the season yet. But I think for a young goalkeeper coming in, Edward Van der Sar has spoken about it. Paul Scholes, Gary Neville have all spoken about it. It is the hardest job in world football in regards to a player. Now, maybe the Manchester United manager is the hardest job as well, but for a player, the goalkeeping shirt at Manchester United weighs heaviest to me has been near brilliant for me. So long may it continue.
What was the go there in that second half where Lamont had the ball in his hand and he went to drop it?
Bit of a heart issue.
Yeah, isn't that not play on? Because it wasn't a foul or anything.
The referee
blew
the ball down because it was offside.
Oh, it was a free kick. Okay, so it was a free kick.
Yeah, the issue there
became
became, which I agree. I think the referee did sort of signal to, it's a stoppage in play. However, it was 10, 15 metres. Well, Lamens was 10, 15 metres ahead of the offence. So that is where, shouldn't you put it back down on the goal line? That's where
that's it.
It's a little bit tricky. So look, that's something maybe Onana would have done and we'll have a different discussion.
Oh my God. I didn't know what was going on there. And I'm looking at it going, is it because he's in the D or is he too close? I didn't realise it was offside. I didn't even see that. And then he put the ball down. And I went, must have been a foul. So anyway.
Yeah, I was confused too because I was thinking, why would they cancel this when it always makes me think, I think it was Nani's goal where the keeper put the ball down and then Nani just came and kicked it in or whatever.
Yeah, that was unreal. That. Yeah.
But I just want to say about the defense, one last thing. The other thing that I don't know if it's based on planning, or it's just we're getting lucky with that at the moment, or maybe it's just the mentality of wanting to win everything. But a lot of the second balls from when Lemons punched the ball away or when we headed it away, a lot of the second balls did come to us as well. And then we managed to clear it properly afterwards. So we never had like that consistent clear a ball, Everton attacks again, clear a ball, Everton attacks again, because we actually got to those second balls.
When he actually doesn't catch the ball and he punches it, it's never into danger. He knows where he's going to punch the ball.
It's always like corner kind of thing of the box.
And with the system we play, we've always got someone on either side to pick that ball up. So it's quite intelligent from him the way he actually does. Where Anana had the problem of if he was going to punch it, it's straight in front of the goal. So someone could just run in and tap it in. There's quite a few of them too, wasn't there? But Le Mans is very good at knowing where to punch it to avoid the danger, which I think is massive for a keeper of his age.
Oh, mate, he's punching. And even there was one there where I know we've basically made this a pot about Le Mans, but what do you call it? There was a group of blokes all together and he just came and claimed it over the top of them. It was over the top of a pack of 3. Now, that is a hard save to make because he has to rise, he has to reach out, he also has to come down, and then he has to take it to the floor. Like I've seen Onana do that, and they're like 10 pins. He'll come straight through them and knock them straight out, so straight over. So, mate, the character, and then get a penalty. Mate, the character of Le Mans is what we need as a Manchester United goalkeeper. A, he's calm. B, he's very vocal. And I don't know if you blokes heard, you could actually hear him on some of those free kick set pieces and stuff like that, yelling at his players. On the corners, he was actually yelling at the referee, talking about the only place he can stand is behind the line as well. You could hear that very easy, that communication between him and the referee, which is great to see.
I think that's very important.
It's a wider debate, and we won't have time for it tonight, but it's started to be a little bit more prevalent, and everyone's sort of putting their 2 cents in, and usually I'm the furthest away from this debate. I don't like discussing rule changes. What Arsenal have done this season, maybe not so much Arsenal, but they've brought it to light. I don't think they're doing anything drastic, which is sort of illegal, but the visual today of it just being like a rugby scrum or a Royal Rumble, I'm willing over the next 12 months to entertain a discussion about looking at changing some type of rule of corners or throw-ins in terms of that sort of attacking phase, because it's just not football. It's just a bit embarrassing, man. It's changing the game.
I actually took a photo of it. This kind of shit here, this is what I was taking Arbor with. I'm sick of it. I've actually brought it up on the pod over the last probably 3 or 4, where, I am sick of wrestling in the box. Today was terrible. And you know what? It's not just in the Premier League. It's filtering down in our juniors and everything now, man. It's absolutely shocking. I watched 3 NPL games on the weekend, and all 3 games you had players wrestling in the box, and the referees did nothing about it. I don't understand it. Why are you allowed to wrestle on a corner? I don't get it. I really don't understand it.
I reckon they'll be probably looking at that between seasons again, and then they'll say that they're going to clamp up on it, because that's kind of what they do between each season. And then they have something new that they decide we shouldn't be doing this anymore, and then they kind of focus on that for that season. Like last season, it was the kicking the ball away during a stop or whatever the case is, and then we did have a similar kind of situation to the goalkeeper thing maybe 4 years ago or something like that, and it was the same thing. So hopefully that will stop it.
Adam, you're right in regards to how influential it is. You're seeing now 18-year-old teams, or the under-15s, the under-12s all started to, because they are watching the sort of the biggest product in world football, which is the Premier League, and that naturally trickles down. But a stat I saw, and it's a little bit away from that, but it's, again, the knock-on effect. Arsenal this season had spent 117 minutes taking corners. And I just think that's maybe that's normal. Who knows? I haven't seen that stat throughout previous seasons, but that seems like that's going to be a record. Like, that's just time wasted, and that's what this encourages. If you're 2-0 up and you suddenly spend 6-7 minutes a game sort of arguing with referees, getting the referee to stop it and halt the corner, and okay, they're coming to have to de-wrestle players. It's just Yeah, it feels like it's killing the game, and I think it is something worth the referees address.
I think
I had a bit of
that specifically. I think they even said it was like 40 or 42 seconds per corner, something along those lines, like that Arsenal was taking. So,
I actually had a discussion about this on the weekend at one of the Premier League games, the NPL games, and Dino's got a comment here. What can they do? Follow the rules already there, but it's easily for mine. I think it can be fixed easy. I don't have a problem with players blocking. Yep, and I know I might compare netball. Netball, it's non-contact, right? But they block very well. It's the same in basketball. They block very well. And it's hard probably to do it in football. But when you're on a corner, you don't have to be holding like that. But it's not just the defending team doing that. The attacking team's the one that starts it. The attacking team starts it. Like that on Lenny Yoro was absolutely ridiculous, man. That was stupid.
The moment a referee sees someone holding when the ball's in the air, I'm aware you can't give a free kick when they haven't taken the corner. But as soon as that ball is in the air and someone's holding someone, if the referee gives a penalty, I can assure you, next week, not one person's holding anyone.
Yeah, that's it. Like, it's killing the game, man. Like, that corners. Like, it's not enjoyable to watch.
Do you notice, though, with the corners, it's probably looking into it a bit, but a lot of the attacking team holds the player. It's one thing we used to do when I played in MPL and stuff. If you're attacking, you hold the player until the ball is kicked, and then you let go, and then the defender is already wrestling you. So therefore, if you're brought down, you might have done the holding first, but the ball's not in play, so therefore it can't be a free kick to them. But then as soon as the ball's in play and they're holding you and they bring you down, it's considered a penalty. It's like a bit of like a dark arts thing that we kind of got taught to do.
Yeah, but I get it. But it's fucking I get the holding and everything like that. But don't you think it's going too far?
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna hold the one in between the keeper and the keeper. The player always stands on the keeper, and you need someone there. But mate, I get
why they do it, but I think teams are just, especially with the corners out, they're just having 4 or 5 big players to try and body other people. That's all it is. It's just holding everyone, keeping them in this little circle in front of the goal and just hoping the ball drops. Like, it's just chaos. That's all it is. Arsenal are just great at it because they create chaos on the keeper and then go back post. They go over the top of everyone, head it back across. That's where all their goals come from.
I think they've got the 6-yard box there. When you think about a field and you think about the rules, the 6-yard box, what on earth? Now someone can tell me, that's where you put the ball for a goal kick. What on earth is a 6-yard box for? I'm sure there is a reason. I have no idea except for the goal kick. Maybe you could just make a rule. This is me with just my thinking cap on. When you take a corner, you're only allowed 2 players per team in the 6-yard box. They've got 3 for a defending team. You got the goalkeeper, and you're only allowed 2 attacks in. And once the ball's kicked, everyone can go wherever. But I'm just thinking, I can't be watching these rugby scrums.
The bit that I find interesting is, like, you think about how you head a ball in football, right? And you try and come onto it with pace and meet it at the right height. So you try and judge the flight of the ball. Fuck, man, I would not be able to jump while standing inside the 6-yard box and try and direct a header from an attacking point of view. From a defending, it's easy. You're already standing next to the player you're marking, and it's just a jumping contest, really. But if you're the attacking team, would you not want to be coming in and attacking the ball at the right flight? Like, I don't know. That's just me.
Well, that's the way it used to be. You wanted to attack the ball. When you took a corner, you always put it on the penalty spot, right?
Yep, and you come at the ball.
You come at the ball. Now they want to sit it on the goalkeeper and everything. So it makes it, it just makes it more important for Lamont to win that ball.
The beauty about all this is Everton weren't rewarded for it. So hopefully they can go, well, that didn't work. We won't do it next week. We'll try something else. Hopefully that is a trend that can continue.
The best part of it was that Everton deserved the corner at the end of the game and they didn't get it. And that made me so happy.
I want to move on to winning possession back quickly. I actually thought in that first probably 20 to 30 minutes of that first half, I actually thought, every time Everton won the ball, we were trying to win it back really quick. And I thought we started positive play moving forward every time. There was very, very rare. There was Delot actually Mazzawawi, when he came on in the second half, Delott went further up the pitch, I think, which I really enjoyed seeing that. Delott didn't have to defend as much. He really enjoyed attacking. I actually thought we probably crossed more in the first half than we did when Sesko came on, which I found really funny. But yeah, I really enjoy us. And it wasn't so much us pressing. It was sort of, now I'm not comparing this side to the old Barcelona side, but they used to have a rule you had to win the ball back within 3 to 4 seconds in that 2008-9 side for Barcelona. And today, I just thought, fuck, over the last couple of weeks, every time the opposition had the ball, we were that hungry to win that ball back, and I really enjoyed watching that.
Yeah, well, that formation gives you the opportunity to win the ball back because it's same basics of triangles. You've always got someone to press the ball, and you've always got two people on either side at the right angle to not let them play forward. So as soon as they get the ball, you can pinch the ball back so quickly without them playing around you. Whereas, like if you played our 3-4-3, it's so easy to once you break one player in the press, you're out. But in a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1, the press is 2 to 3 players. So I thought we were great at winning the ball back. I think we've been great at winning the ball back since Michael Carrick's come in and changed the system. I think it's a system thing that though.
Yeah, but don't you think I'm talking a lot about when we lose that ball as well. When we lose that ball and that changeover, we're chasing back really quick as well. So that player is making it. The player that loses the ball is making it his job to go and get that ball. And if he's not quick enough to go get that ball, he's getting back into a position where he can either get the second phase ball once the tackle's been made, and then we can push the pass and then go again.
Yep.
I don't want to bag any players.
You can break heaps quicker too because you've got players in position ready to go.
I don't want to bag players who weren't involved and sort of not contributing in a bad way at the moment. But I do think in regards to the last sort of 6 months watching us sort of fail at that aspect of the game, Patrick Dorgu and Manuel Ugarte have sort of been sort of regulars in the team earlier in the season. And I just think the visual I always get when we lose the ball, it's 5 seconds later they're fouling someone. And that sort of stops the play and the other team still has the ball. Like the amount of, I don't have the stats in front of me, Manuel Ugarte has to have the most fouls this season. Anytime someone came within 10, 15 metres of it was a foul. And I just think that keeps the ball for the opposition. And suddenly all those same shapes, the same attempts to go get the ball were seen as failures because the other team kept possession. So I just think having that, not to bring in, Kobbie Mainoo should have always been playing, but Kobbie Mainoo and Casemiro and Bruno Fernandes, they're just simply not fouling as much as Manuel Ugarte was.
I will say he also has, I believe, the highest successful tackles per 90. So it's just that he does so many tackles. So some are fouls, some are not. But
I would love to know
big aspect of that would be the way we were playing before. So
I'd love to know his recovery and then keeping the ball because I feel like he wins the ball a lot, but he fucking turns it over straight away.
Yes, which is why we actually need him with if he was there with someone like a Kobbie, it actually maybe would make sense because he just gets the ball, gives it to Kobbie. Kobbie's really good at protecting the ball, handling the pressure, and then he can move it to the 10, who will be like Bruno. So, but yeah.
Well, actually, if there was one thing that was doing my head in today was on a few occasions, I think it was Casemiro and Bruno. Whenever they pass to Kobbie, he's got 3 players around him, and they'll pass it, mate, and they'll pass it to him, and he's like the center of that pass, and then they'll go for a little, and they leave it. He does maybe beat the one, but the second, they're like a triangle around him, so they leave him no option. It was like, Casemiro and Bruno today didn't want the ball, so they just give it to. Mainoo
played into him. It was at knee height, and he just drilled it at him. And he had 2 players on the left and the right of him, and Mainoo tried to bring it down, turn. And I'm thinking, that is the stupidest pass you could play there.
I think Casemiro must have thought he was in retirement over the last 13 days. Seriously,
we did look a little bit, especially just in regards to what I played, especially in midfield. Here we are, sort of celebrating, thinking, okay, we've got the job done. It was we were sort of past the challenge that was proposed to us. But I just felt we, especially in an attacking sense in that midfield, we just didn't play too well. And that is why we're having to defend so much and win the ball back. I just think they looked a little bit leggy. I know they did have a couple of days off, best part of a week off. A lot of them were travelling around the world. And I'm not sure why there was no international break. Obviously, they get that throughout the international break. But fair play to them, but they just looked a little bit flat in regards to their sort of sharpness on the ball, which they have shown in previous weeks.
Yeah,
I actually thought at times we got in the way of each other in that midfield as well. It was starting to do me head in. Boomer was go. Elliot, sorry.
I'll tell you what I thought didn't work for this particular game, and I'm not sure if you noticed it, especially in the first half. It was just that interchanging within the front three. It was quite fluid, and you saw it on like Ahmed at the 9, and Bremo maybe out on the left, Cunha out on the right. And I just don't feel like that sort of fluidness really suited that type of game that we were playing. And I've noticed that, I guess, a few times in Carrick's, I guess, tenure so far is there seems to be, I guess, quite an interchange in that front three. And sometimes it can overload spaces and sometimes it can do the opposite of that. And it works more when we're able to counterattack more. And I think you saw the success in that with the goal that we scored in the second half. How, I guess, a bit more of a structure, doesn't work, and that fluidness will work in a open play type of game. And I was just sort of baffled me at times where I'm like, why is Ahmad sort of directly through the middle at the number 9 position?
Yeah.
And it just, and I think, Sesko now has probably proven time and time again over the last 3 games how influential he can be enough. And you'd surely expect him to probably start the next game. And I know we've talked about it in and outside of the pod on Messenger that, we'd like to see Ahmad maybe come off the bench, and that's where he's probably going to be suited more. But then you'd argue against that because Sesko's come off the bench and scored in the last 3 games.
I've got to, when we get onto that, I've got a thing with Sesko coming off the bench, which I really like at the moment.
Yeah.
You think from a defensive point of view from Everton, you've sat there for 60 minutes and marked a left-footed player that tries to get in behind and is technical. For 60 minutes, he's run you around the pitch. And then for the last half an hour, you've got a 6'5" pacey striker, fresh, coming off the bench, full of confidence. You're thinking, if you're Tarkowski and Michael Keane, you're thinking, fuck's sake. And I think that's why Sesko is doing so well off the bench, because he's coming on confident with a point to prove. And I think he's making defenders. It's Michael Carrick's doing the right thing with starting and Mbeumo up top, because he's completely a different profile player. So it's not like a like-for-like swap. So when a defender gets used to defending someone, showing them one way, knowing the distance on how to jockey, how many steps back you got to give them, which side of the ball you want to press when they go to dribble with it, what side of the foot they use when they run with the ball, all these little things. And then you've just gone, as soon as they learn that after the first half an hour of the game, you've gone, righto, he's a 6'5", confident, rapid striker who is going to make you question everything you've just done decision-wise. And I really like that. I like it when you've got someone that's not a like-for-like swap up top. From a defensive standpoint, it's so difficult to mark. And
to be successful, to win whatever trophy at this elite level, you simply need stuff like that off the bench, because just in theory, and even at the top level, but especially you work your way down to sort of park football, pretty much a starting 11 is the 11 best players, and the people on the bench are worse players. So a lot of the times when managers, we're screaming at TV, make a sub, they've got the same real thought process as us in regards, no, I'm playing my best players. If I take one of them off, I'm putting on a worse player. Why do I want to make us weaker? In theory, that's a lot of the thought process. So that's why they're sometimes a little bit hesitant to make subs. But at that level, if you can bring on, I said, I don't know what Sesko costs, a 60, 70 million pound, you're not a bad player. So I think in terms of, I remember going through sometimes when Real Madrid were winning the Champions League, you looked at their bench. If that was at Manchester United, the only debate we'll be having about that bench is how can we have 300k sitting on the bench not playing every week? But that is what the squads who win Champions Leagues, what they have on the bench. So when we see Sesko on the bench, we think, we've got to play our number one striker. He costs a lot of money. He's got to be playing. Well, yeah, ideally. But in terms of the best teams, they have those guys on the bench. That's not me saying Sesko should be on the bench next week. But I just think it is the problem we do need to sort of gratefully accept.
Yeah, I do agree with Elliot, though, saying Ahmad should probably start and Sesko should come in. I do think that's a valid point. I'd like to see Ahmad off the bench, but I really like Sesko coming on for the last half an hour at the moment and being so much more fresher than who he's running against. Because in that goal, man, if you
shocked
look
how
at
quick
how
he was.
far he got up that field, man,
He should have had a second. He should have had a
he should have
second.
had a second. I was going to get onto that as well. He should have
He was
scored
talking, mate.
tapped it out from under him. But
Yeah.
and the composure when that ball comes across, I reckon 6-7 weeks ago, he tries to take a touch there.
Yeah.
And
That was my fear that he was going to take a touch.
But
especially because he went to his right foot as well. Like,
but he just hit that. He came into that with so much pace. Like he didn't slow up sprinting into that box at all. He wanted to score, and I think that's so important from someone coming on the field that wants to make an impact like that. I thought he was exceptional when he came on. Other than he didn't.
Not to put a dampener on it, and I just want to join in the celebration of talking about Sesko's goal and his performance. If that was at the other end and that was Man United, the defending from Everton, why did they have only one player back? It wasn't like they were chasing the game and it was the 95th minute. They're throwing everyone forward. It was like one ball from Cunha and it was a foot race. And I just said, where are the Everton defenders? And then Sesko's obviously beaten Tarkowski in a foot race.
Keane seems to get forward a lot for Everton, doesn't he? Like he's the one
that
that had that shot. And he just doesn't seem to care. I don't know. It must be something Moisey's telling him. Just go and attack. And he gets they get in the box a lot, even when it's not set pieces or anything like that. Yeah.
It's because he remembers his roots.
Yeah, I just think like moving forward, like, you know, the current variations that we've got is Sesko off the bench for that impact. You know, there's only going to be so long that we can use that as a bit of like a way to exploit teams. And, you know, I think we've got Palace on the weekend and then a follow-up fixture with Newcastle at St. James's Park midweek. We've got to be maybe having a bit of a look at sort of what's another way that we can exploit teams.
I'd start him against Palace. I wouldn't start him against Newcastle.
You know what's interesting on that? Oh, you go first, Elliot. Sorry.
Look, I'd like to also potentially see maybe Mbeumo come off the bench as an impact as well, because I think he can impact the game in a different way to what Sesko is by potentially coming on like for Ahmad and attacking the game from that right hand side too. You know, we've seen there's been success with Cunha coming off the bench, sort of when Carrick first came in. Sesko now, you know, I know Mbeumo is quite an unorthodox player and where he's been played at the moment, but I think we've just got to use things to our advantage and try and do things a bit differently every 2 or 3 games just to try and keep our momentum going a bit. That's just me.
You know what's interesting is that for the past 2 weeks, we all said, I mean, most fans said that they reckon Sesko should start this game, bench Ahmad or Mbeumo or whatever the case is. But then, I don't know if you listened to Rio. Rio was actually saying he reckons like Mbeumo was the right choice. And for him as a defender, he'd rather not have Mbeumo start the game. He'd rather Sesko start.
Exactly what I just said.
Yeah. So
exactly what I just said. From a defender's point of view, man, having Sesko come on for the last half an hour is the worst possible thing to deal with.
Yeah. That's why Ollie was so good, wasn't he?
Well, that's what I mean. Like you can't. Like I would rather, from a defender, I would 100% rather mark Bryan Mbeumo for 90 minutes than mark him for 60 and Sesko come on. I'd rather mark Sesko if I'm going to mark him from the start of the game, because then you can get a read on his touch and how he plays and which side of the foot he likes to dribble with. Does he like to use the ball out wider than the inside of his body? Like, it's just all these little things you pick up on as the game develops. Bryan Mbeumo is quite easy to understand that. He's so left-footed and he's so direct when he plays. Sesko, he's rapid, man. He was rapid for that goal. I don't think anyone else gets there that quick on the field.
Yeah, no, look, and I agree with that, and I agree with like the almost tactical approach everyone has here in regards to sort of changing that up and having that option off the bench. The issue comes, our analysis is solely based and focused and dependent on the result. If we have 0-0, we're discussing different things about the substitutions and everything. It's solely we're discussing the positives of it because we won. And if we don't get that goal, we're saying, well, Shouldn't you start with your goal scorer, your real striker, and give him 90 minutes rather than 30 minutes? Give him 90 minutes to score a goal rather than 30. And I'm just thinking, I agree with everything said there, but it's just that is the fine balance Michael Carrick or whatever manager has to strike. It's a tricky one.
Just to put it out there,
biased, Tom? Are you saying we're biased?
Just to put it out there to you guys,
Of course we are.
what do you think Sesko's better performances have been, from the bench or starting?
No, it's definitely off the bench so far.
So do you change that? Like, I'm just being that.
Well, I don't even know that if someone could show me the stats in front of me. I would even maybe not say bench, which I assume they are. I would say more so. I'm saying better performance from Šeško late on in games. Has he started those games and he's done well at the end, or has he come off the bench? I'm not sure. I don't have those specifics in front of me, but it definitely looks like it at the moment in regards to when that game is a little bit stretched and one or two defenders, have one or two different motives. Maybe someone's on a yellow card, maybe. So he's still one of those ones in terms of.
It's also hard to judge because, I mean, like, his 6 goals in 7 games or whatever since Amorim left have been also, as we've changed the way we've played, and he hasn't started really a game since. So you can't, like, it's nice to say, it's because he's coming off the bench, he's doing well. But you don't know if he would start these games, he would do well because the system is.
Oh, no, that's exactly what I'm saying. I don't. So, I'll just put that question out there.
Yeah.
The thing,
I've got a couple of.
Our system now matches the way he played at Leipzig. Very, very, very much similar.
I've got a couple of comments in the chats here. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. How do you reward Šeško for his contribution in the last 3 to 4 games?
You say that's your job.
Yeah. It's hard at the moment, man, being that we're not.
You
in
reward the
games.
postman for delivering the mail, as Roy Keane would say.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But that's what Carrick has to do in regards to it. We can all sit here and agree, okay, Šeško has to come off the bench. And Michael Carrick can share that same view. No, that's working for me. However, in regards to, we've been debating the last 6 weeks in regards to what's a coach versus what's a manager. He has to manage the personality of Benjamin Šeško now. Šeško wants to start. So even if Carrick thinks, no, it's the wrong option, he still has to keep Šeško on side. And he might have to start him in a position where he doesn't feel he has to start him because he has to manage. And that's the same for every single player. So that is he does need to be rewarded. Does that come this week with a start? Who knows? But that is the fine balance of keeping this group happy.
I'll be honest with you, though. But you know what? I just, over the last few weeks, right, Carrick's, when he's got us those winners in the probably last 3 games, Carrick's gone straight up to him after the game. It's gone straight up to him after the game, had a chat with him. It's like Šeško's really happy. I think he's got that Sane mentality where he's happy to learn, and he's got a calm mentality as well. As much as players want to start and everything like that, I think he's really managed. Carrick's really managing him really well. He might be comfortable just coming into the game late, and he's been rewarded by getting that goal. I think that could be part of the reward.
Yeah, and I wonder if it could be something to do with the mentality of where you're coming from as well, because it's not coming from a huge footballing nation and going to all that kind of stuff. And same thing I would say with Le Mans as well. They're coming from smaller kind of footballing nations, and they're now playing for Man United, so they can appreciate that. They're like, wow, we really representing our country at one of the biggest clubs in the world, kind of thing.
Well, what you said there, Adam, it goes back into my preference in regards to wanting a manager, not a head coach. The players know what to do when they go out there. You need to keep them happy. And I think at the moment it does look like good management of Benjamin Šeško.
It definitely is. To me, it looks like that. It's especially after games. And you can see Bruno, every player went up to Šeško at full time today. Every player. Because just to keep that confidence up and his understanding the way things are evolving, and just it was beautiful. I would have crushed United to get that draw today because they did work hard. And as much as our keeper was making a lot of saves, that's his job. Well, we went away from that when we've had these other goalkeepers in there going, oh, what a great save. And it was a basic save, right? He's making the basic saves now. And now we're looking at it as if he's just doing his job, which is fantastic. And that's what we want. And it's the same with our striker. He's now finishing the ball off in situations where it was a beautiful ball by Cunha in the first place, and then Bumo then drew the player. Sesko showed good speed. He was in the right position to finish that off. He was running straight down the middle of the pitch. He let himself set up just to the left a bit to the D, and he knew the goalkeeper would come out at him. Finished it lovely. And it was every player in that situation carried the ball perfectly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's the sort of goal you want him scoring, really. Like,
yeah.
I know he scored some highlight reel goals, one of the guys said at the start of the season, but that's not a highlight reel goal. That's the build-up, maybe, but that's the sort of goal you want your number 9 scoring.
Well, that's why I put in the group chat. As soon as he scored that, I said that is a striker of confidence and clinical. Yeah, like he knew what he wanted to, how he's going to finish that before the ball even came to him. What
I'd like to see, and I'm sure someone has a stat for it, but especially the last sort of 6 weeks since Michael Carrick has come in, but even before that, 1 or 2, if you get up the points Shesko's goals have equated to, in regards to, it seems like he scored some big goals, even the ones where they got us a draw here or there. This is 3 points because of Shesko's goal. So I think at the moment he's not scoring 1 goal at the end of a 4-0 victory, which means nothing.
No, they're important
at the moment.
Goals.
He's scoring big goals, which is that's huge for everyone. That's huge for Shesko. That's huge for the team and having that confidence of him. And in regards to the way pressure is built, that's huge for the fan base to have that confidence in him. And sort of we won't sort of get on his back too much when he does have a bit of a lean spell.
Even under Amarin too, he scored some pivotal goals, didn't he, before Carrick came in? So, yeah, I think you start him against Palace.
Jordan.
Yeah, I think you start him against Palace on the weekend, but you probably play him off the bench against.
Yeah, I wouldn't start him against Newcastle. I'd start someone that can get on the ball in front of him. I'd almost start Cunha as a 9 against Newcastle, because especially against it, and I'd just try and sit on the Dan Burn side of the defence.
Look, if there was a negative in the game, like I've got to talk about it, is when we did score, we started sitting back again, and then the Everton was starting, and that's when all the corners really started coming in rampant. We did sit back a bit. We did start turning over the ball a lot more. Carrick started making a few defensive subs as well. So if there was anything I could really pinpoint in that second half was when we did score, and then we started trying to sit back on that 1-0 instead of trying to go for it again. Even though Sesko did have that other chance, but I can't remember another shot on goal or other than that one.
I agree. Whatever happened to Shea Lacey? Where's he at? I like to see him come on at the end there and try and run the ball.
Unfortunately, I think he has a bit happening in his personal, not him specifically, but his family.
Yes.
I think the club might be sort of giving him a bit of
that's
time off. But
that makes sense. Because I think he would have been a great player to bring on for like one of the wide players today, because he just runs the ball up, and that's what you need in those games. You just get the ball up the other end. Just a player like that off the bench would have helped. Because I think when we did make those defensive subs, like you said, Adam, we went defensive. Simple as that.
You know what? It was funny. Like when I think there was like 3 minutes to go. Probably it was an injury, and he brought Aiden Heaven on. I don't know why I was nervous. I don't know why, but I was nervous for him to come on. I think that's just such a high pressure situation to bring a kid on.
The corners were building up. Just the percentages of 10 corners. As I said, we could defend it perfectly. We could just ricochet off somewhere. Harry Maguire could do a fantastic header, but he could head it into Tarkowski's head and it bundle in over the line. Like, it was just the percentages suggested a goal was coming. And it just every 2 seconds there was a corner. Like, even if you kick the ball forward, somehow the wind will take it out for a corner. Like, it was just every 2 seconds.
I always find the late subs kind of, I get them, but I also find them quite difficult for the player that's coming on. It normally takes you a few minutes to get up to speed with a game and get involved and learn where everyone is on the field. And you got to try and, like, Aiden had to come on and just start defending corner after corner after corner.
I remember one time I came on as a sub, and it was sometimes I was on the bench, but if I was on the bench, I'd usually come on with, I don't know, half an hour to go sort of thing. But once I came on in injury time, well, I think it was 0-0 or we'll win in 1-0, feel what it was, but I came on deep in injury time. I didn't know where I was. I was just running in a circle. Everything was moving around me. I could not get near anything, and I was like panicking. That made me sort of. It was the strangest feeling I've ever had, and it was like panic station set in. It was so weird.
Longest 2 minutes of your life.
It was shocking.
I want to touch on the combination. Look, when you saw the lineup, and because there wasn't any talk of Martinez being injured at all through the week, has there been an update with that when he got the calf injury? I don't know, but when I saw that lineup and he was out again, like when Yoro came in. Sorry, Jordan, go.
He needs to stay fit, man.
Oh my God,
Martinez has got to just sort himself out and just get fit. He goes on like these 5-game runs, gets injured, then he got another 5-game run, and he'll be out for the rest of the season. And it's just like, I just want him. I want him for a full season, fucking at his best.
Yeah. I've got a comment here. The negative on our game is Diego Darlo. Look, I can't put shit on him on this game. I really can't, because I actually thought he was very good. I actually thought he was good. He even threw a step over in there. He had a good shot at one time. His movement back into the middle.
That was close.
I think that was very close.
I think he had
I'm the first one to criticise him.
Yeah, I think he had one point where his pass to Bruno was not good when Bruno was running. I think that was this game. But
but if you're gonna say that, holy shit, man, we could go to town on Bruno.
Yeah, but I was gonna say, aside from that, I thought he was really good, and really everyone was misplacing passes, so it's not like just him.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. I think it's due to that both sides were so in each other's face. Decision making. Look, as much as we can say they're professional footballers and everything like that, mate, when players are in your face and you've got to beat a player 1v1, there's only a certain amount of players that can beat players 1v1, no matter what level you are at. I don't care what anyone says. It's one of the hardest things in the game you can do is beat a player 1v1, and it's not spoken about enough. It really isn't.
It is probably harder nowadays.
It's really hard.
It's probably
because they sit off you a
nowadays.
lot. Yeah. You find players don't dive in. Look, probably Diego Dalot's probably the easiest to beat 1v1. But what do you call it? That's only because he jockeys too far away. And there's a lot more space on the pitch these days where players are that quick when they put the
fucking run at it.
Yes,
You go either way.
Yeah.
So
But there's
square
that
to the
much
ball.
room when they put the ball behind. I don't believe that's a 1v1. If you can do a trick and beat a player 1v1, mate, I was never quick, but I could do a fair few tricks to beat a player. But once I beat that player, I'd have to pass straight away, right? I was never going to beat a player for pace. But what do you call it? It's one of the hardest things you can do is beat a player 1v1. It's never spoken about.
Well, and all it comes down to when you're a 1v1 attacker is they've got to have confidence and be able to. It's whoever bites first in the situation usually loses. So as a defender, you got to draw them to make the first touch to come to you, and then you can come in and pinch the ball. Or if they're going to go on the inside, you can draw them so they take that touch inside and double up. Little things like that. Where that Doku for Man City, mate, he is probably the best one-on-one attacker in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what you do, man. He's fucking making you look like an idiot.
Yeah, but I mean, Ahmed's good at that as well. But those front three, they've been doing it their whole career. That's their job. They've got to beat a player. But as soon as you start dropping into, like, say, a left or right back, I think Luke Shaw does it occasionally. He'll beat that player 1v1. You're starting to get Mazraoui will do it on occasions. And then Dalot did it like a couple of times today. Like, if we can beat that player 1v1 from those back players, that creates an overlap straight away, and it will create a 3-man overlap because everyone then slides across. It's really a skill in the game. If your team can master that, you're winning leagues all the time. Maybe Patrice Evra used to do it. Dennis Irwin used to do it. And then you used to have Rio Ferdinand and Vidic. That would be the player 1v1. You saw it today, actually.
That's
Harry
the thing.
Maguire wanted to carry the ball more than Casemiro.
That's one thing that Martinez was good at, but he would do it in the I invite pressure onto me, and then as you are really close, I will dribble past you, and that would actually that's something we miss, because then you take that one of the attacker or the midfielders out of their game, and then he has the space to make the pass.
That's one thing I used to do a lot when I played football. When I played like the 6 role, is you just pick the ball up off the centre backs, wait for the player to come to you, and if he's coming on the right hand side, as he goes to dive in, you just tap it past him on the left, and you just skip past him. I'm not a quick player, but you just utilize the space and his momentum to go past him, then he's out of the game.
I'm just going to call you Jordanso Martinez from now on.
One of the best players in the Premier League at just skipping past players into space is Cole Palmer. He makes it look like he's just effortless. Like, he is so smart with his awareness of where just to dink the ball into space and just go past the player. Because once the ball's out of range for them, if they touch it, it's a foul.
Yeah.
So you can, as soon as, even if your touch is bad, you can just wait for the contact and you get a foul.
Well, just on that, Jordan, and there's different ways. We have a visual of beating players, and the visual we have, the way we've all grown up, is the winger getting the ball, dribbling towards the fullback and going past them. In regards to the reality of how important it is on a game, I don't know the stats in front of me. I'm sure Lionel Messi sort of led the stats, and then players like Iniesta. But I think in that great Barcelona team, in regards to what would be defined in a stat as a take-on, it was Sergio Busquets. In regards to the amount of times he was able to just beat a player just by sort of almost one touch and going past them. And if you can beat any player, whether it be a fullback or you beat their striker, at the moment you can, as Adam said, the importance of it. If you can beat one player with the ball and simply put him on the other side, and then you've got a little bit of space, it changes the picture of the entire game. And Sergio Busquets was breaking lines just with his touch. And it doesn't just have to be the winger.
One of the most underrated footballers of all time. If you watch the way he plays the game, he makes it look like he's versing under sixes out there.
A debate for another day, but I was having it with a couple of mates the other day at the pub, and I've gone through it, and the personal preference, of course, you can take your pick. In that 6th role, I'm happy to listen to Busquets being the greatest ever. Everyone will have different preferences, of course.
We got 20 days off in a few weeks. We might bring that on.
I'd love that discussion because, man, I used to idolize my game on him. I used to literally watch Barcelona's midfield play because I used to play the same position as him, and I used to, because I wasn't the quickest at all when I played, and he's slow, but he makes it look so quick. So you just watch him and think, oh, I'll try that the next game. I'll fucking fall over the ball and roll my ankle. And they score.
All right, boys. We've gone 57 minutes. It's been a great laugh. I know Yoni's got to go. He's got to do a bit of uni stuff with his wife or something like that. But it's been good. I've got a couple of shout-outs today. The first one I want to put out there is congratulations to the women. They're at the Asian Cup. They won 2-0 this afternoon, which is massive for our girls. They're only part-timers, and most of the teams in the Asian Cup are pretty much full-time in futsal, which is good. And this is probably their second tournament. So congratulations to the Futsalrug women. And hopefully, fingers crossed, one day my daughter's going to be a part of that. And
they changed the kit before then. That kit is fucking ugly, eh?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
They probably don't get to wear the new one. They don't get the new one. They probably pick those ones up from Botany to pick them up for the girls. Mate, I'm not shitting you.
I thought Jordan said that kid is so ugly, and I was like, hey, she's playing soccer. Leave her be. And then I realized he said kid. We're good.
And the next one, we've got an event on. We've got an event for everyone knows Wazza. He's riding from Perth to Adelaide to Melbourne. He's currently in Melbourne, and he'll be on his way to Sydney. He arrives, I think, around the 6th of March in Sydney. So 6th or 7th, maybe something like that. And we're having a night at Shay's Bar on the 8th at 5 p.m. Everyone's welcome. Boz is coming. They're going to have a camera crew. It's a gold coin donation. They're going to have raffles and everything like that. We're going to raise money for UNICEF because it's his goal to raise $1 million. And he's going to ride across America and hopefully catch up with Bex over the World Cup. So put that into your calendar. It's been put on by United by Mark. So Mark O'Connor's starting to get a few events going and things like that. So if you want to join Mark, he's on Instagram and he'll be posting all this kind of stuff. So, which will be a great event. So we've got Wazza, and we'll probably have a fair few of his relays there, the Mongolian group there and stuff like that. So it'll be a great event on the 8th of March. The day before, we'll be watching one against Sydney FC. So
Yes, we will.
we certainly will. So, and it's been very entertaining. Cheeto Obi, shout out to him. He got 4 goals overnight against Leicester. The women winning in the the Champions League? Is it the quarterfinals they're into now? I think now the quarterfinals. So congratulations to the women. They did get knocked out of the FA Cup, but they've had a tough road this year. A lot of games they've played, and
their next game is they played Chelsea again. Their next game is the League Cup final.
Yeah,
they've got a break now.
Yeah.
But probably the good thing about that, I think Chelsea have 2 Matildas. I think, and you'd assume the Matildas will be in the Asian Cup final. So chance of silverware for the girls in a month's time.
Yep. So good on the girls. It's great to watch them, and it's really good. They still got Ella Toon's not back for them yet. So
she was in the way and at Goodison.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, she would have loved it, which is good. So, and we've all been breaking boxes and everything like that over the past week or so. And so we'll probably, I know Jordan's keen to do a collector's pod maybe Thursday. So if work doesn't get involved or anything like that, so we may do a collector's pod Thursday night. So we're always looking to do stuff. The reels will keep coming. We'll keep having fun. We'll keep enjoying watching United at the moment. So thank you, boys, for coming on. Thank you, Yoni. Thank you, Elliot, Jordan, and the doctor, Tom. Thank you. I always love when Tom comes on. So
he makes me sound like an idiot the way he talks. He talks so well, and
I'll need to watch this back and hear because I don't see it.
I see it. Trust me. I see it. I got to talk after him. Fuck.
It's funny. My daughter's training to be a school teacher at the moment as well, and sometimes the way she talks to me, I'm thinking, shit, she's going to put me in the corner in a sec.
Nobody puts Adam in the corner.
So also thank you to the people that watched us on TikTok. We got 2,500 likes on there. We're 100 or 5,000 followers there. Twitch and Kick as well. So we're doing really well. I think we've just ticked over 400 on YouTube, and we're coming up to 2,000 on Instagram. So thank you everyone that's involved. The support is fantastic. We're answering questions all the time, having fun with people all the time. So like, share, subscribe. We'll talk to you later. See you later. Check you.
See you.
There you go.
Cantona. Gary Neville looking for his first goal for Manchester United, and what a time to get it!